Hello everyone, welcome to Algebra 1/2. So we are in lesson 87 and today we will be working rate problems as ratio problems. So let's just refresh what rate problems entail. So if I say that if 7 apples can be purchased for $2, we have 2 rates or even ratios. We have 7 apples for $2. We could also write this the other way around, that we have $2 for 7 apples. Whichever one we use depends on what we want to know. If I want to know how many apples could be purchased for $10, I would use the first ratio because I'm looking for apples. We keep whatever we're looking for on top when we solve our problem this way. And I multiply my ratio, 7 apples over $2 times $10. And my unit of dollars cancels out. 2 cancels with the 10 to be 5, and I get 35 apples. In this same way, if I change what I'm looking for and I want to know how many dollars I would need to spend for 10 apples. Well, here I'm looking for dollars. I want to know how much 10 apples would cost. So I put dollars on the top. I'm going to use that ratio. $2 over 7 apples. I'm buying 10 apples, so I want to know what the cost would be. My apples cancels out. 7 and 10 don't cancel, so I multiply. 2 times 10 is 20 over 7. So it would be 20 over $7. Don't worry about the dollar sign or anything like that right now, okay? So that's how we solve these types of problems. But we could also solve them as a ratio instead of solving them like this. This way gives us the advantage of that we can see our units canceling out and we know what we're left with. But our other way, solving it as just a pure ratio, is also very helpful. So let's take a look at that. Okay, I'm going to erase this just for the moment. Okay. So, if I work this problem as a ratio, I have to identify what I have. I have apples to dollars. So any apple to dollar is going to equal the other apple to dollar when I keep my ratios the same. So if I say that my ratio of apples to dollars is 7 to 2, and I want to know how many apples I have for $10, well, I'm looking for apples, so that part stays a variable. I have $10. Then I cross multiply to solve. 7 times 10 is 70. Oops, did I do the right thing? Yeah, I did. Okay. 7 times 10 is 70. And 2 times A is 2A. Divide by 2. Divide by 2. I get 35 equals A. So I get 35 apples for $10, just like I found in the first one. Okay, so let's try the second one. So I still have my ratio of apples to dollars equals apples to dollars. I know that I have 7 apples for $2, but this time I want to know how many dollars I need when I want to buy 10 apples. So I put 10 in place of apples, and this time I'm looking for D, the dollars. I still cross multiply. 7D equals 2 times 10 is 20. Divide both sides by 7. So my dollars equals 20 over 7. Just like I did in the first problem, okay? It's as simple as that. So let's look at an example. 14 bags could be filled in 3 hours. How many hours would it take to fill 84 bags? Okay. We're going to solve this both ways, okay? We're going to solve it just as a rate problem and we're going to solve it as a ratio problem. So the rates that I would get, it says that we fill 14 bags in 3 hours. or it could be written as 3 hours to fill 14 bags. Okay, same rate, just depends on what you're looking for. I want to know how many hours it would take to fill 84 bags. So if I'm looking for hours, I want this particular rate because I'm looking for hours. Whatever you're looking for has to be on top. Remember that rule. So 3 hours to fill 14 bags times 84 bags. Okay, my unit of bags cancels out, so I'll just be left with hours. Okay, let's see, 14 into 84, can we do it? Yep, we can. Okay, so this cancels out. 14 goes into 84 6 times. 6 times 3 is 18. So it is 18 hours. Okay, whoops. 18 hours. All right, but how about if we do this as a ratio? Well, as a ratio, I have hours over bags equals hours over bags. I know from my problem that I have, I'm going to write it to the side, 14, whoops, that's wrong, 3 hours for 14 bags, and I want to know how many hours it takes to fill 84 bags. Make sure that you have the numbers in the correct spot. Hours is 3. I'm looking for hours, so that variable stays. 14 bags goes with 3 hours. I have 84 bags, so make sure that they go in the right spot. Now I cross multiply. 3 times 84, 12, 252 equals 14H. Divide both sides by 14, and I get 18 equals H. Okay? So that's all that you have to do to solve these kinds of problems. Go ahead and pause now and do your practice. Okay, you should be back from doing your practice. I'm going to do it with you here on the board just to check it with you. So Jimmy could cap 60 bottles in 7 hours. How long would it take to cap 420 bottles? Work once using rates, then work the problem again using a proportion, which would be a ratio. So, using rates, okay, that would be 60 bottles in 7 hours, or 7 hours to do 60 bottles. It says that we're looking for how long it would take to cap 420 bottles. So I want to know the hours. So I have 7 hours over 60 bottles times 420 bottles. My bottles cancel out, so does my 60 and my 420. This becomes a 7. 7 times 7 is 49. So I get 49 hours when I work it as a rate. Let's double check and make sure I get 49 hours when I work it as a proportion, as a ratio. So if I say hours to bottles equals hours to bottles, I know that 7 hours I can do 60 bottles, and I'm looking for how many hours I can do 420 bottles. Cross multiply, 7 times 420, 0, 14, 2,940 equals 60H. Divide both sides by 60, and I get 49 equals H. So 49 hours, okay? That's all you have to do. Let me know if you have any questions. I'll see you in our next lesson. Bye.